The weight of cruel words can be heavier than any stone. For a teenager walking the crowded hallways of high school, every glance, every whisper, every burst of laughter seemed directed at her. Her clothes were plain, her hair never styled in the latest fashion, and her face didn't carry the features her classmates deemed beautiful. Day after day, she carried the sting of insults that pierced deeper than anyone could see. They called her names, mocked her walk, and sneered at the way she looked. With each passing day, she shrank further into herself, hoping to disappear. At home, she hid in her room, the silence of her walls her only comfort. She stared at herself in the mirror and struggled to find anything worth liking. The reflection she saw was not hers anymore. It was shaped by the cruel opinions of others. She started to believe she was less, that maybe she deserved to be overlooked. She carried the weight of shame in her chest, as if it pressed her down into the ground. She stopped raising her hand in class, afraid of being noticed. She avoided the cafeteria, hiding in corners where no one could see her eat. Every moment became a negotiation with herself, how to walk without drawing attention, how to breathe without being mocked. To her, it felt like living in a world where her existence was always a mistake. Yet, in the quiet hours of the night, when no one was watching, her hands told a different story. With a pencil and an old notebook, she sketched faces, trees, and shapes that came alive on the page. In her drawings, she poured the pain she couldn't put into words. Her lines were soft but full of emotion, her strokes uncertain but searching. Art became her secret language, one no bully could touch, one that allowed her to escape for a little while. Still, she never saw it as anything special. It was simply a hiding place, a way to breathe when the world suffocated her. She never imagined her drawings could mean anything more. For now, they remained tucked away between pages no one cared to open. Just like she felt hidden, overlooked, and unimportant. But deep inside, beneath the layers of hurt, there was a quiet seed waiting for light. A part of her longed for someone to see her, not the version mocked in the hallways, but the one who created worlds with her pencil. At that time, she didn't know it yet, but her hidden sketches would become the first step toward reclaiming her worth. One afternoon, as she sat in the back of the classroom, her head low and her notebook half hidden beneath her arm, something unexpected happened. Her art teacher, Mr. Reynolds, noticed her sketching. Instead of scolding her for not paying attention, he quietly asked to see what she was drawing. For a moment, she froze, certain he would laugh the way her classmates did. But when she reluctantly slid the notebook forward, his face softened. He looked at the pages as if he were holding something precious. He didn't see messy doodles or wasted time. He saw raw emotion etched in every line. Mr. Reynolds told her she had a gift, though she found it impossible to believe. He invited her to join the art club, a place she had never dared to imagine herself. At first, she refused. The thought of others seeing her work terrified her. But his words lingered in her mind like a small flame in the dark. For the first time, someone had looked past her appearance and seen her heart. That night, she opened her notebook again, this time with different hands. They trembled less, not because the pain was gone, but because she wondered if maybe her art wasn't just a secret escape. Maybe it was a way to be seen not for the way she looked, but for what she carried inside. She decided to try. The next week, she attended the art club, slipping in quietly, her sketchbook clutched tightly against her chest. She expected mocking stares, but instead, the room was filled with students, too absorbed in their own creations to notice her hesitation. Slowly, she opened her book and began to draw. Her fear didn't vanish overnight. When some classmates stumbled upon her work, they snickered, whispering behind her back. The old sting returned, reminding her of all the times she had been laughed at before. She considered quitting, retreating into the safety of invisibility. But then she remembered Mr. Reynolds' words and the gentle way he had looked at her drawings. His belief in her weighed more than the cruelty of others. So she kept going. Page by page, stroke by stroke, she poured her fears, her sadness, and even her small hopes into her art. Each drawing became a quiet rebellion against the voices that told her she was worthless. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about daring to express herself when everything inside her said to hide. Unknowingly, she was beginning to rewrite her story. With every line, she was no longer just the girl mocked in the hallways. She was an artist, and her notebook was proof that there was more to her than anyone had ever cared to see. The school gym smelled faintly of paint and varnish, transformed into a gallery for the annual student art exhibit. She stood at the far end, her hands clenched together, staring at the easel that held her drawing. It felt surreal to see her work displayed in the open, no longer hidden between notebook pages. The piece was simpler, portrait of a girl with closed eyes, surrounded by shadows that slowly gave way to light. It was her story, told without words. Her heart pounded as students and teachers walked past. Some glanced without stopping, others leaned closer, and a few even whispered in appreciation. She waited for the familiar sting of mockery, for the cruel laughter she knew too well. But this time, it didn't come. Even if it had, she realized it wouldn't have mattered in the same way. Something inside her had shifted. She remembered the girl she used to be, the one who hid in corners, terrified of being noticed. That girl had believed her worth was decided by the voices around her. Now, standing in front of her artwork, she felt a quiet strength rising in her chest. Her value was not a gift others could grant or take away. It was something she carried, something no cruel word could erase. Mr. Reynolds stopped by, his eyes warm with pride. He didn't need to say anything. The simple nod he gave her was enough. For the first time in years, she felt seen not as the target of ridicule, but as a creator, someone who brought beauty into the world. As the evening went on, a younger student approached her shyly, asking if she was the one who drew the portrait. When she nodded, the student said it was beautiful, that it made them feel less alone. In that small exchange, she realized the power her art carried. It was not just her escape anymore, it was a bridge, a way to reach others who felt the same kind of pain. Walking home that night, the air felt lighter. The cruel words would still exist. The world would not suddenly grow kind, but their weight no longer chained her. She had discovered something stronger. The truth that self-worth is never measured by opinions, but by the courage to be who you are. She was no longer hiding. She was no longer invisible. She was enough. Chris Pro-Tales said, "In life, many of us spend years trying to fit into the molds others create for us, forgetting that true value is not something given, but something we uncover within." This girl's journey reminds us that even in the darkest shadows, there lies a light waiting to be seen, a light only we can choose to embrace. If you've ever felt small under the weight of others' words, let this story be your reminder. You are more than what the world sees. If this touched your heart, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe for more stories that inspire.